Well, welcome. So
Thank you.
please, let's start with telling us your name.
My name is Helen Werlech Chamberlain.
Thank you.
And I'm Don Werlech.
Very nice. Nice to meet you. I'm Rosanna Savlik, and I'll be moderating today's interview. So what I'd really like to know is about the Croatian language. Did you speak the language at home? Tell me about that.
Okay, we spoke the language at home all the time until we went to school. And when Dawn went to kindergarten, the teacher called and said, Mother was learning English, but a little neighbor lady was helping her. And they called Mother to school and told them that Dawn didn't know his colors, didn't know how to speak very much, but we spoke Croatian at home all the time. So that was, then after that, they learned a little more English. Dad, of course, knew English, and Mother was learning. And so then they spoke a little Polovicu, half and half.
Yes.
So Mother had 4 children in 36 months, so she was a housewife.
My goodness.
So she
She
never
was a
went
busy
anyplace.
woman.
Yes,
Absolutely.
very busy.
Absolutely. And so now, so you grew up, of course, speaking Croatian.
Yes.
I couldn't
And-
speak English when I went to school.
Exactly, kind of like me.
Yeah.
I also couldn't speak English when I entered kindergarten. It's a traumatic experience.
Yeah, I know.
So then, getting back to your story, then when you did go to school, you started to learn English, etc. So did it prevail? Then did you find yourself speaking more English at home, or did you continue to carry on with Croatian?
Well, we continued talking our language at home, but eventually that we blended into English eventually.
Yes.
Because we
Yes,
brought
we-
friends home.
Well, then we brought, our home was open to everybody, so we did have, then it was more English, and I think, and then as we got married, of course, we didn't marry Croatians, so it was more English at that time, later on in life.
And how about, may I ask, you both have children?
Yes,
Yes, and do they speak Croatian at all?
no.
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 Okay. And so let's go back to growing up. How was it growing up Croatian?
Well,
were there differences?
I can tell you this way, my father never sat in a schoolhouse. He learned to count 1, 2, 3, 4, the pick in the ground. He never sat in a schoolhouse. So he wasn't in applied psychology. He ran the house like the Gestapo. Because when he went back to the old
That's true,
country,
too.
I think we all know that.
Frank knows my dad. but anyhow,
So it was a tight ship, is what you're saying.
Very
Yeah.
tight, very tight.
he was just rough and tough. You know, that's what it was.
Yes, for sure. So
Yeah.
did you go to a private or a public school?
I went to a Catholic private school.
And did you have other Croatians in your neighborhood or your class, or not at all?
No, well, at school we did, but my folks were very much involved with the Croatian community in Seattle, and our life revolved around that. They would have dances, and of course all the Croatians brought their children, and we
Yes.
all slept when we're tired. We slept on the pews until our parents would go home, and then they'd pick up all the kids, take them home. And the picnics and they would get together. Had different friends, different parts of the city, and they would. My dad did have a delivery truck for his business, so we all hop into there and go to the different homes. So
Yes.
our life was very much with the Croatian community.
And you would say it was highly social. It sounds like it was
Oh, yeah.
extremely social growing
yes.
up and in the Croatian community.
A lot of social things going on.
Yeah.
A lot of things, with the Croatians, yes.
And so did you feel that it was expected that you would marry someone within your community?
They would like that, but
They
it
would
never
have
worked
liked
out.
that. Yeah,
No,
it just
they
didn't
were
go
not.
that
No,
route.
they were not strict about
They
that.
never bothered us. We could,
I see.
whatever we did was okay with them.
They accepted everybody. They loved, they loved my husband, they loved his wife and everybody else, so they were very, very, very good that way.
Well, was there anything about your parents that you felt was a bit different from other parents in how they parented, let's say?
I would say yes. Our mother was very extremely modern, and she was very social, and she was quite a bit younger than a lot of the other Croatian women in the community, and she was a little risque at times with her language. So
Really?
she told a lot of stories that were, and some of the Croatian women didn't care too much for that. So she was progressive. My mother was very progressive. So
And quite colorful, I would
Yes,
imagine,
yes.
yes.
Would you call her a feminist?
I don't really think so, but
Colorful.
Colorful.
Oh,
yes.
good for her.
Yeah.
And so, what were some of the, I would imagine that you had some very strong values growing up in a Croatian household. What were some of those values that kind of came from your parents that you still hold on to today?
So was what?
What kind of values that mother and dad have that they passed on?
They
that
were
we
very
passed on?
strict in everything. I mean, there was no in between. They were strict in everything we did. We went to church and things like this, and they're extremely strict.
Our faith was very important to them, so we were brought up that way. And they, we had to go. We went to church on Sundays. We take care of and having gone to Catholic schools and all that. So they were very, very firm that way. That we followed our faith and that we were good. Good citizenship meant the world to my parents, and they were just so proud to be American citizens. It's endearing to me when I think of today, in today's society, how things
Yes.
are. So, yes, they were very proud, very good.
Absolutely. So they were very proud of being American, and it sounds like they were also very proud of their Croatian heritage, and really, it seems, kept that up and tried to instill that
And they
in
did.
the children. Yes.
They did, yes.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he liked the name was changed because when he got his citizenship, the judge spelled it Werlech instead of Vrljic.
Yeah.
And I told my dad, well, why didn't you tell him he spelled it wrong? Well, he's afraid he wouldn't get his citizenship. So
Yeah.
he was proud
So
of
just
that
went with-
American
Yeah.
spelling name. He was proud of it.
Oh, that's great. Wonderful. So I also wanted to ask you about, well, you had mentioned you did a lot of social things.
Yes.
What other kind of things did you do as a family in your free time?
Oh, picnics.
Is that right?
A lot of picnics. We lived in West Seattle, close to the beach, and so we would go down there, and mother would fix dinner, and then dad would come home from the grocery store, and we would have packed. Mother would have had everything ready, and then they would go down to the beach, maybe to Lincoln Park. Remember that? And they'd have.
We really didn't go many places.
Yeah.
Everything was
travel.
evolved around our family and friends.
Yeah,
Sure.
family and friends.
That's all.
And,
we did.
and Seattle's beautiful, so you
Yeah.
had a lot
Yes.
of beautiful places right here in your own
Yes.
backyard to
and
to
friends
go to.
all over the city.
All the
like
old
all
pictures
Croatians.
is just picnics or family gatherings, is what they are.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And how about holidays? Can you think of
Oh, yeah.
particular rituals or particular traditions that you can talk to us about that you did in
Yes.
Christmas or Easter or some of the other high holidays?
Well, I always remember at Christmas time, and the old tradition was that my dad would go out, and you'll have to correct me on this too, would go out and get a log. What was the tradition in St. Frank probably remembers that, but he would go out and bring the log in with with some branches from fir trees, and we would put it in the fireplace, and I don't remember what did to it. And then we would have the candles at the dinner table, and he would always dip the piece of bread in the wine and bring it up and dip it over the candle, and put the light out with the candlestick. So that was kind of a tradition, I think.
What did that signify? Do you know?
No, I really don't. I guess I don't. If I did, I've forgotten.
Yeah, that's an
Yeah.
interesting one,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And what other things do you remember from Christmas or from Easter, or was there anything in particular that you did or that your mother cooked, for instance?
Oh yeah. She was a plain cook, and she did a lot of boiled dinners and meat and everything in the dinner plate. But I remember especially when my father would have a birthday. My mother was the seamstress and did all our clothing. But whenever it was my father's birthday, she would line us up. At that time, there were just 4 of us instead of 5, and then my dad would come home, and we'd have little bouquets of flowers. And my dad would come home, and my mother taught us this little hymn, or not a hymn, a little saying that would say, "Ja sam mali miš, koji ne zna niš, zdravlje I veselje, to su moje želje." And so that was wishing my dad good luck on his birthday.
Beautiful.
And then we would give him the flowers, and so that.
Oh, what a lovely
Yeah,
ritual.
yeah, it was.
Can I interrupt for a
Yes,
second?
of
What
course.
between, let's say, the ages of 6 and 12, What years are we talking about, calendar years?
Well, probably like the 30s.
The 30s,
when
okay,
we
so you
young.
were talking about during the Depression. Did you feel that you experienced any difficulties financially during that time, or was
No,
your father
because
able
my father
to?
had a grocery store. We always had plenty of
Yeah,
food.
we had plenty of food.
Yes.
We weren't suffering, but he
So-
did financially. Some things did go with business wrong with him, but
My father lost everything in the stock market, but still, we had a grocery store,
Yeah.
and we always had plenty to eat. And my parents used to help a lot of people, a lot of people.
so.
And I
And they
did,
take food to different people's homes,
right.
always. And you
That's
did
great.
a lot
Very
of that.
generous, very
You
generous.
shared
in the
his good
community.
things.
He did share a
Oh,
lot during the
bless
Depression when
him.
some people that would come by his store and they didn't have any money, and my dad always made a sandwich for them. Well, you know,
Oh,
bread,
lovely.
meat sandwich. So
So may I ask you about the relationship with money? So, I think that some Croatians come and they try to save as much as they can. And then others say, wow, this is great. I'm going to start spending my cash. So how was their relationship to money?
Relationship with mother?
Money.
it was saving.
What?
Financial relationship. Yes.
Financially, with Dad we were not spenders. They were savers.
Yes.
And save
Yeah.
for the future, and save for your children, and save. During the war, Mother always sent packages back to the old country, so you saved money to buy things to be able to send them back. So we were a saving family.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as many
Yes.
Croatian families I
Dad
think
sent everything
were.
home that he
Absolutely.
made
Yeah.
before he got married.
He did he? And did they continue to do some
Yes.
of that
Yes.
after?
Until
Yes.
after the war, and even after the
So
war.
finance used to tick the parents off because I would spend the money and they would want me to save it, you know?
Of course.
That was really a sore point.
Of course.
Spender.
Yes.
And did your parents go back to visit what was then Yugoslavia, correct?
Yes, I went back with my mother when I was quite young, and that was when my father sent her back there to see whether he could establish his business there, and they told her that there was going to be a war. And then we went back in '77, I think, Dawn and I.
And mother and dad went over in the
checked on-
60s.
Yeah, mother, yeah, they did. So we went back a couple of times before that with my mother. And then my dad and mother went back in 1965.
And so what did they talk about when they went back home? What kind of things did they say made an impression on them?
When mother and
don't
dad
know.
came back. I think my father was just so happy to go back and to go into his hometown, and I think it probably made him feel very good to know that he came to America and he was a successful man, and he went back, and everybody back there, they were all poor and didn't have anything, so he was kind of like a mini god to them. Yeah.
Of course. And how about your impressions then of the homeland when you went back? What did you think?
Just I don't know about Don, but I was just totally amazed at the conditions of how they were raised. Dirt floors, probably not enough to eat, and my mother's family was probably just a little better off. But my grandfather had a what was that?
But they lived in poverty, my father did. My mother and father was a blacksmith, and they lived well.
Yes.
But my
Yeah,
father was very
absolutely.
poor, very poor.
But the country is beautiful. I just couldn't believe the beauty of the country. Just absolutely gorgeous.
It's
Yeah.
stunning.
Yeah,
it
it
really is.
It is.
We all need to be quite
Yeah.
proud of
Yeah,
it.
that
aren't we?
should,
Sinska
yeah.
Polja is just beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. So
Gorgeous, yeah.
fertile.
It
So
is.
it's so lovely. Absolutely. And so thinking
About
back
time.
He's trying to
over
get your attention.
thinking back over sort of your life and your life as a sort of Croatian, first generation Croatian, what would you say would be the biggest things that have sort of influenced your life being Croatian to this day?
How were you influenced, Don?
Well, I'd
being a
say the
Christian?
point, just the honesty they instilled in us.
Yes.
That was the biggest thing, because we were taught to do what's right, and they dwelled on that. and it was very strict about that.
I
And
think
so
that,
that's the important thing.
Yes.
yeah, to me, our faith was very important to them, and just of the idea of being a United States citizen was just, I mean, they would never, ever, ever miss an election. So that being citizens was very important to them, and America. They loved America.
Yes.
So
loved
some of
America.
those old timers come to the house, they get mixed up in politics.
Yeah.
She wouldn't allow that
Ah,
because
that's,
she
yes.
didn't want them to talk against anybody or the country.
Oh,
She
very
was very
good.
strict about that.
And your father the same perspective?
Well, pretty much so. Pretty
Yes.
much so, yeah.
So it came into the house, but it didn't kind of fester there at all in
Right,
any way.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
And our home was very open to we had company all the time.
And not only Croatians, but
But yes,
everyone.
all of our
Yes?
friends everybody was welcome in our home.
So
we were
let's end with this question then. Why are you most proud to be Croatian?
Well, proud of what?
To be Croatian. What makes you most
Why
proud
are
to
you
be
so proud
Croatian?
to be a Croatian?
Well, I'm just very proud of the heritage and where my father came from. It's amazing where he came from. Just poverty, they didn't have nothing, and they were poor. And he went to Island of Vise, worked for 4 years to come to America. It's just an amazing story.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
How he came to Seattle, met this guy, never talked, speak
Yeah.
to anybody.
But
It's
met
just
your
amazing.
mom,
I
and
just
after
So I'm
Yeah.
very humbled by it all.
Yeah, humble. That's a good word. Humbled. We are humbled, and we're so lucky. We are so lucky.
indeed, and we are lucky to hear your story.
When I look where I came from and how it all happened, I'm very proud of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. Thank you so much
Thank
you.
for
Thank
being
you.
open and sharing your story and your parents' story with us.
Thank you
Really
so much.
appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate